today I've been asked to come and talk to you guys about subscriptions and portals, and so I thought we could just set up a subscription and a portal together, and that'll give you a good idea of how to do it for your clients. One thing I want to show you before we get started is I want to make everybody aware that on ARMLS.com we have a number of learning opportunities for you guys. So this is just our public-facing website. It's not FlexMLS. You just have to go to the URL ARMLS.com, and then if you go to the top right of our page to learning, we have a number of online classes that you can access right here, and they're all free. They're all covered in your MLS dues that you paid us. And so you'll log in with your FlexMLS ID and password, and then it's a video of sometimes me walking you through just different things in the system. And you can pause it and try it in your own system, etc., etc. Okay? So these are a really good opportunity. Now, what we're going to be talking about today, subscriptions and portals, actually is not under here because we're going to be changing up the subscriptions and portals in, we think, around 3 months. Okay? So everything I'm teaching you today is still going to be good for the foreseeable future, but it's not in our online classes because this is like our new software. We're going to wait for the new system to come out for subscriptions and portals before we make a class about it. But if you come up here to webinars and recordings, you're probably going to want to make a note of this because you'll scroll down past the live webinars to the on-demand recordings, and the one you're looking for is just subscriptions and portals. And this is literally a video of me, and I'm talking as I go around the screen and show you.
Hi, welcome to our webinar on subscriptions versus...
So, my recording voice is really different, you guys. But yeah, it'll walk you through exactly what I'm going to do with you today. So, today's class gets a little steppy. There are lots of different steps to setting up subscriptions. If you lose track, you can always come back and watch this video. Okay? Let's jump on over to FlexMLS. And the scenario we're going to start with is that you met a prospective client, say at a mutual friends get-together this past weekend, and they said, oh, I'm looking for a house, and you said, oh, I'm a realtor, right? Like, tell me what you're looking for, and I'll send you some listings, right? Show you what's available. And so we're pretending that they're not in your system at all yet. They're not in your contact management. You haven't created a search for them, nothing. You just had this little one-off conversation with them in person, and now the first thing we're going to do is create a quick search for them so that we can set them up on automatic emails so that they'll receive new listings that match their search whenever they become available. So that's a subscription. Subscriptions send emails. That's the thing to remember. I hear a lot of times that portals send emails, and that's actually not true. The portal is more like a website that your client can go to on their own time if they decide to, and view all of their search results in one place. So you guys probably have portals for your doctor's office. I feel like every doctor I go to has another portal that I come up with a username and password for it, and I can view my test results there, right? So with our portal, oh, that's Jet. Hold on. Okay, so the portal, they can go into their portal at any time, just of their own volition, right? And they can star listings that they like, which is basically like a thumbs up, and then they can hide listings they don't like. So that's great because you're really communicating back and forth with them all the time. You're able to see what they're liking and not liking without them even having to call you, right? So it gives you another reference point to reach out to them if they go into their portal and make some choices. Okay, so first thing in this whole process with a brand new client is just to create a search for them. So we're going to create a quick search, which you probably have it in your favorites bar up here, but if you don't, you can go to your menu at the top left and type in quick, and then select quick search. And we're just going to enter the criteria they told us about. For today's example, our only criterion is going to be that they have a minimum list price of $9 million. So we all want this client. Yeah. Okay, so that brings us to about 15 listings, and we're going to save this search. Now when we save the search, we're not saving these 15 listings. We're saving the criteria that generate those 15 listings. So as new listings come on the market that meet this one criterion, they're going to be emailed to our client, okay? So I'm going to come up here to the Save button with a floppy disk, and I'm going to select Save Search. So real simple, our save type is going to be new because it's a brand new search, and we're going to give it a name. So we're going to name this, I'm going to name it our client's last name, Smith, and then I'm going to say something about the characteristics of the search. I don't want to name it just my client's name, because if I do that, it gets really confusing, the difference in the system between the contact management record versus their search. They'll look identical if you name the search just your client's name, so make sure you add something about the search criteria itself. So I'm going to say 9 million plus, okay? Plus they might have a bunch of different searches, and you can have clients that have multiple searches searching for different things,
Doesn't
right?
that show up though out there?
It does.
At 9 million.
And sometimes that's a good thing
Yeah.
for them to be able, because say they might be searching in North Scottsdale, but they also might be searching in Central Phoenix. And you want them, they can actually toggle back and forth between the different searches inside their portal. Alright, I leave the search description blank because I think it's redundant, it's just extra work. You don't really have to fill in the search description right here because the system is going to save a summary of those search parameters for you anyway. So my experience with the search description is just I type something in there and then I go and I change the search and I forget to edit the search description. So I say don't even mess with it. At this point, because we don't have our client in our contact management yet, we're actually going to change the contact section to new so that we can create a brand new contact in our contact management at the same time. So the display name is just how they're going to show up in my contact management. So I'm going to call this person Sally Smith, and typically we would type in her email address right here. Today, if you want to type in your own email address, so we're pretending that you're the client today, you can do that. I'm going to type in a fake email address. At this point, you do have the option to create a portal for her, but you never want to create a portal at this point in the process. The reason is, if you create a portal right now, it's going to notify her that she has a portal before there's anything in the portal. So she'll go to the portal and it will be empty, and that will be very confusing for all of us, right? So don't create the portal yet. We're going to do that at a later point. And come down to the bottom and click Save and Add Subscription. So I'm going to scroll up a little. This is the page where we get to choose all of our details for, say, how often she's going to receive notifications of new listings. So just to start at the top, the subscription is already named by the system. It's usually named after the search. If they have multiple searches and multiple subscriptions, the system gets a little bit creative, but you can see it's just subscription in the search name right now. By default, notifications of all new listings are sent to you as the agent because you're creating the subscription. It's sent to the selected contact. Obviously, it's going to be sent to the client. That's the whole purpose, right? And then you're going to get a notification whenever the client clicks on the link to the listings that they'll find inside the subscription emails, okay? In the beginning, this is really good to have all three checked because you're getting to see everything they see, and also being notified when they click the link just gives you an idea about how interested they are in the search, right? If this gets to be too much later, you can always come in here and like uncheck these two, right? But you always want to leave selected contacts checked if you want them to receive the search results. Preview mode sounds like a good thing. Typically, you don't want to select preview mode. If you select preview mode, the listings are going to come to you directly, and before they can go to your client, you're going to have to go in and one by one select approve for which listings you want to go to your client. So I get asked a lot, like, why do you even have this, right? It's like the opposite of a subscription email, of an automatic email. I've seen it used just a couple of times. The one example I always give is I had an agent who the client had really particular needs for the backyard, and we tried all these different ways to search for what the client wanted in the backyard, and still there were listings getting through that had backyards that the client was really not happy with. And so the client got pissed at her agent because she thought the agent was sending her stuff like that I already told you I'm not interested in, right? So what the agent did is she turned on preview mode, and then every morning she would go into her email and she would look at the listings that had been sent to her overnight. She would look through the pictures, see if the backyards were okay, and then send on only those particular listings. So preview mode creates a lot more work for you as the agent, right? But if your client is for some reason not receiving what they think they ought to be receiving, it might be a good option for you. Obviously, we want our contact to be right here, and this little button that's in the contact bar, this means that she has an account in our contact management, okay? So we've already created on the previous screen a place for her to be in our contact management. With any kind of subscription, whether it's I don't know, a newspaper or a magazine or Netflix, whatever, you probably receive that subscription on a regular basis, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and it's the same thing with our subscriptions. So you can choose weekly, where they would receive up to 2 emails a day, 1 in the morning and 1 very late at night. The way weekly works is for every day that's checked, the system will search, again, once very early in the morning, like 1 a.m. If anything new has hit the market, it'll bundle all those listings into 1 email and send it to the client. And then very late that same evening, like 11 p.m., it'll do the same thing. It'll bundle all the new listings in and send them in 1 email to your client. So the max they can receive is 2 emails a day with weekly. What if your client doesn't want to receive emails all 7 days a week? That's fine. You can uncheck several of these options, right? The only issue with this is that it is possible that something could come on the market, say Sunday morning, and if it was already pending by Wednesday evening, your client is never going to see it because they're only receiving emails on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Monthly is great if you've already closed a deal with them. So if you've already sold them a house, maybe you just want to send them an update once a month of all the sales activity that's gone on in their subdivision, just so they can see what's coming on the market, what's sold in their general vicinity. Also, it keeps your name and your face in front of them, right? So NAR is saying right now that homeowners in the United States, they're typically moving every 7 to 9 years. So in all likelihood, they're going to be moving in 7 to 9 years, and hopefully they'll come back to you if you keep your face in front of them, say with a monthly email about how their property is doing. ASAP is what we're going to choose today. Because we have such a narrow search, there aren't that many properties over $9 million. When something comes on the market, I want my client to see it immediately. So with ASAP, if something new matches their search, 5 to 7 minutes after that match happens, a single email with a single listing is going to go to your client. It's great for something like our 9 million plus search. It's not as great for broader searches. Like if I'm going to be sending a client a search that's Chandler Gilbert 250 to 300,000, and I set it up on ASAP, they're going to get like 40 emails a day, right? It's like every 5 minutes they're going to be getting like, here's a new house, here's a new house. Under view to send, I always change this to client view. Never put it to residential view, because you'll see when I do this, this is the information that appears for your client in the list view of the properties, which is like the spreadsheet view of just the basics of the properties. And right here, you're sending them the listing number for every property. So they just don't need that information, right? So always make sure that you choose number 1 client view. And then down here in the body of the email, I just have a really basic template where the subject is new activity in your home search, and that's basically what the body says as well. Question.
Can you set that up for default?
Client.
You can't. There's not a way to set it up by default.
You guys should get on that one.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things to get on for sure. That's a great suggestion. And so I will show you guys how you can put it in suggestions. So if you come back to ARMLS.com and you go up to support, there's a suggest box. And our level 2s look at this every day, and they're the folks that go back and forth with the company that makes our MLS. And so if you enter your suggestion, it just has more weight coming directly from you than if I take it back. Although I'm happy to take that back.
But if you get like a round of 10, you can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 hits in the class, right?
I can say that. They just don't, they really like you guys to put them into the website. So, but yeah, I will take that back to them. All right. Back to FlexMLS. this email message needs to be really, really generic because they're going to receive it up to multiple times a day, right? So you don't want to mention anything about how hot it is outside because they might be, you know, still looking at it 4 months from now if they're still looking for a house, right? So just make this super simple. You don't even have to type anything in the body because they're going to know what to do because it's going to automatically paste a link in there that says click this link to view listings. So they'll do it. Go ahead and click the save button. So we've basically created a search for our client, saved it, created a contact record for our client in our contact management. We've attached that search to our client. We've created a schedule for how often they'll receive new search results. The one thing we haven't really done is we have not sent these 15 listings to our client. We've only set up a schedule for future changes and future new listings that will match the search.
Going back to you set up the search and with the description.
The search description?
Well, yeah, contact name, I guess it's in, I've always made sure that that box didn't have subscription on the front of it, so subscription and then the title.
Why do you do that?
I was taught that way. Someone who said that it was kind of important because then it was, the system recognized it as a contact and it was, let's describe it as being consistent with the title, with the description, with the name. And I think I did that at one point in time and somehow it wasn't sending the correct emails, or it was sending a different.
Are you talking about this little part?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there where it says subscription. I always make sure that I delete subscription and just keep the title name or the contact name, whatever I named search.
Right. So like Smith 9
Right, consistent, and not have anything else in front of it, because even when there was a, I don't know, I think I had a problem one time, even when there was a space.
Really?
In front of the S, Smith. It created a problem.
It created a problem.
I've been doing this a long time, and
Right.
I'm here to learn because there's always some things that I don't know. But I just know that I just got to stay consistent, and I don't know if you found that to be the case. But you know what I would do is that whenever I make the title, I would copy and paste it. I would copy it, and I just paste. And I would put it in there. I put it, you know, as soon as I made the name,
Yeah.
I would copy and paste it there. I'd paste it in the description, just because it was
So let me ask you this: when you were creating subscriptions in the past, did you go through it the process that I just went through, or were you?
I did. Yeah.
Or because there's another way to do it too. There's like I think more transparent way to do it, and I was wondering if.
Well, I think I did.
Like
I'd set up the search. I'd set up contact.
I'll show you guys the other way to do it in just a minute, because I think that might answer your question.
Okay, I just know that there wasn't. I did it 1 or 2 ways. You know,
Yeah.
I always do it this way because I stay consistent with it. And I knew that there was something that was contradicting the way the system recognized the search.
So that's so interesting. Like I don't typically recommend that people mess with this.
Okay.
Not that you were messing with it, but I don't recommend that people change this. Only because if you need support from our help desk and you call in, it's kind of easier for them to help you if everything is kind of the way the system does it.
Okay.
So, but it doesn't, to my knowledge, it doesn't matter if you erase subscription. Now, I mean, it would matter if you erased subscription, but see, there's still a space, which is what you were talking
Well,
about.
right, yeah, and I said I always just eliminate it, but
Yeah.
when your subscription name in one area is Smith 9 mil, and then you're naming your actual subscription name somewhere else, it says subscription name in that box. There's 2 different names.
If you can show me the place you're talking about, if you can think of it later, maybe we can look at
I
it.
mean, like when it shows up in your list of saved searches, so my saved search, that's what's listed. My saved
Yes.
search name is different than my subscription name.
Right. So literally, your subscription name is just subscription, and then the name of your saved search. Like the system, but sometimes if the name of the saved search is too long, it'll truncate part of it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens.
No, not so much, because most are pretty short, but when it would save it to a list, it would, you know, it would say subscription name, it would say subscription and then name of the search.
This is my saved search screen,
Okay.
and
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe it was just something that happened years ago, a big change.
maybe they might have fixed it, but you guys can see that my search is called Smith 9 million.
Yeah.
And then down here, it actually shows me which subscriptions it has. So like, if I could
Okay, so
actually.
so there it is, the subscription, I think it's just 6-1, half a dozen of it.
Yeah,
So in
okay.
the subscription name, it just says subscription Smith and then 9 mil, and then over there, the search name is
Smith 9
is
mil.
Smith 9 mil.
Mhm.
I think.
It might have, I have no doubts that your scenario happened. It may have been
Yeah.
something that they fixed when they
Well,
realized
this
it
was
was a
probably
problem.
like 12 years ago.
Oh, maybe, maybe it was just the issue then. So back to this, all the stuff that I showed you guys up to this point, we didn't send the 15 listings, okay? If you want your client to see what's currently on the market right now, you have to manually email these 15 listings after you set up the subscription. So this green box lets you do that. It gives you 3 options. Email these listings now, meaning all 15. Choose listings to email, meaning you could select just like 10 of them if you wanted, or do not email these listings now at all. You always want to click email these listings now.
Let's get a quick question while you're there.
Yeah.
If we were to select the do not send listings now, when do they send? Does the subscription go ahead and kick off and it's gonna hit tomorrow or what have
The
you?
subscription will kick off immediately. So
Okay.
we had selected ASAP.
Right.
So if something like a $16 million listing hit the market, 5 minutes from now, it would be emailed to your client, but your client would never ever see those 15.
Got it.
It would just be the new one.
They would just get the new ones.
Yeah.
So that's a fault in the system that hopefully they change with the next version.
Are you gonna talk at all about the other criteria? Cause it's very rare that you would just put in a price point, especially a minimum. Usually you put in a maximum,
Yeah.
but, and there's no geographics, there's no how many bedrooms, there's no.
Yeah, because this was just, obviously you would put in all those other criteria.
See, I came because I wanted to, a lot of times you tweak the criteria,
Uh-huh.
to get more listings if there's not a lot, and so I
So
was
we
wondering
had-
if there's rules to, like, for square footage, do you add 10% and subtract 10%, make that your minimum and your maximum? Are you
When
gonna
I'm
get into
searching,
any
we're
of
not
that?
really, because I wasn't really asked to come talk about
That's
searching. I'm happy to talk about it.
Preference.
I'm happy to talk about it after we finish talking about this.
Okay.
I will absolutely. So this is a manual email. So you have to send those 15 listings. Always choose the interactive version, okay? Because you want your client to be able to click around the screen and see all the different content that you're sending them. So if you just click anywhere over here, you're gonna be good. This is a screen you guys are probably all familiar with, right? Where you get, it's the manual email screen. This makes me really sad at the top left, right? I'm only gonna send one listing unless I change this to all results. And we've all done it, right? You think you sent 20 listings to your client, you call them, and they're like, oh yeah, I got that one listing. You're like, oh. So unfortunately, there's not a way to change this to the default. It's a suggestion I'll take back.
Well, no, I like it because it's the one that you highlighted on the other page.
Yeah, it defaults to current listing. Yeah. So choose all results. In terms of this information, it's completely up to you what information you want to send your client about those 15 listings. I will recommend, however, that the start position should be photos, because you want them to click on the link and immediately see photos of properties, right? They don't care about the tax records right away. They want to look at the pictures. So go ahead and make that photos. For the view, you always want to make it the client view. Okay, and we can actually save these settings at the bottom so that you'll never have to change them again. For me, if I were the client, I would want my listing agent or my agent to send me all the information they possibly could. That's just my preference as a person, I think. But some agents want to keep their cards a little closer to the vest, which I totally understand. So you don't have to send them the history and the tax supplement. You can just uncheck whatever you don't want to send them, okay? Make sure that when you send them the detail report, that you're selecting listing detail report with business card, because that's going to put your headshot and your contact information at the bottom of every listing detail report. It's at the very top, it's under detail, and there's a drop down. So you want listing detail report with business card. Beyond that, everything else is your choice. I recommend that you don't send them open house information. There's no reason for them to go to open houses by themselves because you can take them on private showings. You will notice I have vacation rental available dates checked, even though this is not a vacation rental search. And the only reason for that is I'm going to save these settings at the bottom. And at some point in my real estate career, I'm probably going to send, some vacation rental listings. By checking this today, it doesn't include any like blank fields or anything. It's just not going to fill in that information because it's not relevant. Okay? All right. At the very, very bottom, you have some choices about your branding. So you can choose like where your generic business card, which is, let me show you guys, it's this information, it's your my silly headshot, and your contact information. You can include it like at the top, the left, the right, whatever of the screen they see, and then you can choose a background color. So you guys are red, right? Here, so you can come in here and choose all red. All right. To the right side of the screen, this looks really, really similar to pretty much any email you've ever sent, right? Make sure that your client is in the to line, okay? You can also type in an email address here if you want to like CC your partner, but you don't want to type your client's email address in here. The reason for that is your client's contact record must be in the to bar if you want the system to save the email beyond 30 days. So if you were just to type in your client's email right here, the system would erase that email from its records after 30 days, okay? So just best practice is to put your client's name in the to bar.
Can I ask a quick question here?
Yeah.
If you have a client and they both, husband and wife, want to get the emails.
Yes. So you can put an additional email into their contact record, or you can set them up as two completely separate contacts. Let me get through the screen and then I'll show it to you on the next screen. So always send a copy to yourself. Even though the system saves which listings it sent to your client, it's not going to save the personalized message that you typed to your client. So by sending a copy to yourself, you're going to have a record of all the interactions you've had with your client, okay? I also like to be notified the first time the client clicks on this page, right? Because this is really the first time they've heard from me in our scenario. So down here in the message, this is where I can give them a more personalized message because they're only going to receive this email one time, right? So I actually have a template up here, which is called New Client Intro. And it's just an example of what you could send to your client. You guys are welcome to take pictures of this if you want. Unfortunately, I can't send it out by email. But basically, the subject, it just says new search results plus your portal. Because this is the first time they're going to be hearing from me, right? So, hi Sally, here are the listings that currently match your search criteria. See link below. I'll continue to send you updates. So basically, I'm telling her, hey, I set you up on a subscription so you'll receive automatic updates. The subscription is going to send new listings, status changes, price changes, all that good stuff. So it's not going to be just new listings, it's going to be updates as they become available. I'm also creating a portal for you. It's a website where you can view the listings that currently match your search criteria all in one place. You'll be receiving another email shortly inviting you to the portal because we are going to do that in just a second. Okay, so I'm just previewing it for her. I look forward to working with you. The last thing you want to do at the bottom is click this preview button. Okay, this is a good opportunity for you to see that your business card is whatever branding color you chose and that I'm sending all 15 listings and not just one. Okay, so this is a little scrunchy because I'm on the projector, but the pictures would be much larger, and because my start position was photos, that's why she sees the pictures first, right? She can also click over to this detail tab, and because I've included the history and the tax info and everything else, she has all that right here. But say you didn't want to include history and tax info, it just wouldn't show up here, and she wouldn't know the difference, okay?
Question, is there any way to, this is a generic card.
Yes.
Generic, is there a way to make like can I put my company name, logo?
Yes.
My logo's in there?
It's called a custom business card,
Okay.
and it's under My Reports if you go to your menu. So you guys, also, I believe we have, if I come to webinars and recordings, I want to say we had one about business cards. I know we have a blog about it. It doesn't look like we have it here. I can show you in the menu what it would look like. If you wanted to create like a fancy business card that wasn't just kind of boring, you're going to come here to your menu and search for My Reports. So it's going to be under Preferences. My Reports. And then there's a billion of them, but basically you're going to come down here, New, and when you save the custom business card, it's going to appear in this little section. It takes a lot of, so you just click New, and then you select business card, and then start building it. It's a little cumbersome.
Yeah.
If you have challenges with it, absolutely give us a call on the help desk,
Yep.
and this is the number. Alright, we're back here, right? So we've looked at the preview, and we just want to go ahead and send this email. I'm just going to click email at the very bottom. It sends in the manual email. As to your question about like what if there's a spouse that also wants to receive the emails, if I come to contact management, so you guys probably have contact management in your favorites bar. If I find Sally and I click on her name, on this first page, oh, come on computer, there we go. It's just got her email right now, so I want to come down here and say edit contact. And then I want to add an additional email here. And so we'll call that like John Smith. But you have to check notify if you want them to receive the subscription emails.
Yeah, see, that was the deal too, so. Because it's difficult to figure that out.
Yeah, it's hiding.
So then you added you had a subscription, because on the last, couple windows back, it says, add a new client, or add new, next to the name on the previous screen.
The screen?
No, when you're back to it, no, yeah,
Here?
screens ago. No, anyways. There was where the contact name was, and then on the bar, and it says add contact.
Oh.
So there was a little button that says add contact
Yeah.
on that line.
I know what you're talking
And
about.
so I would click that sometimes, and I'm not exactly sure if that takes you to where you need to be.
So that, I'll show you exactly. So he's talking about the manual email screen. So
Right there.
right here. So
Contact.
if I didn't, like, I already had Sally selected before I came to the screen, but if she weren't in my contact management, I could click add new contact, and I could add her as like Sally Smith 2, Sally 2 at ARMLS.com, and now she's in my contact management. So I just created, so what I did, if I come to my contact management now, and I search Sally again, there's Sally Smith 2 all of a sudden.
So basically, it's adding a new contact. It's not like adding a contact to that box, to the email.
No, it's
Gotcha.
adding a contact to your contact management.
Got it.
So it's an optional contact to that person.
No, it's a new contact.
No. So like, so I've shown you guys one way to create a subscription. Another way to create a subscription would be, before I ever create the search, to go to my contact management and create my contact like this, Sally Smith 3. You know, Sally 3. The system just gives you a bunch of different ways to do the same thing. And so the way where I click the add new contact button on the manual email screen is just a different way to do what I'm doing right here. Or
Before I that's a question.
yeah, sure.
So when you have two people looking where you get the same subscription, but they both have portals.
Okay, if you want them to have separate portals, they have to be separate contacts and
Okay, so
contact
there
management.
lies the difference. That's what the difference lies with having separate, two people who are, husband and wife looking at, one portal. One person is saying, oh, I like this, the other person is saying, no, I don't like this.
Right.
So now you have two people in the same portal that are messing with things.
So back to Sally and John for just a second. So this situation right here where I have Sally and John,
Right.
under portal, they're only gonna have one username and one password. So I'm not gonna be able to tell the difference between when Sally likes something and when John likes something.
Right, but if you give them both access to their own portal and their own search.
Correct. You could put the same search in two different portals,
Right.
and then you would be able to tell.
Right, so
The
that's,
only downside to that is you have to do double work every time. So whenever you make a change to Sally's search, you also have to make the change to John's search.
That's what he's saying.
You gotta train your clients
You're
to
not
do
looking
it.
at
You
right,
don't
right, right, well, this is
wanna get in the middle of that.
You know, then they're going, well, why did you, because then they know I have access to the portal, and I can change, you know, if they have liked something,
Yes.
and if I like something, and then
Just set them up
there's three
differently.
people liking something, or, you know, I'm making a note in there, they're, you know,
It's a little complicated.
they're between the two of them, they think that they're both messing with each other's portal, and one's liking something, somebody's deleting something.
Right. So you could put them in two different ones.
Right, so
I
it's,
think
that was
that-
my thing, is that I think I learned a lesson on that one. And that's where I was like, okay, if I add an email, or, you have to create a separate thing, so one person is
Yeah,
messing
they,
up.
like one spouse could be unsaving what the other one had,
Right,
like undoing
yeah,
the
and
work.
then, so
for the
they're
first one.
constantly, you know, one looks at it before the other guy got there, and he's like, well, my wife gets in before I do, she's going to,
I say you just set up two different portals.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
I guess the preface here of this whole thing is that you have to set up two.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's
If you don't, you're gonna have a divorce in your hands.
And let them hash that out, not you, right?
Huh? Well, no, it's part of it's my problem, because then they're going, because they're saying to me, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? Every time I wanna see this, it's already been deleted, or, you know, and I say, well, talk to your wife, she probably got in there and deleted it for.
Yeah, I mean, even though it might be a little bit of extra work on your end.
No, I don't mind doing extra work, I just.
Yeah, so then the two separate
Yeah.
accounts are best, you're right. You're like, you guys are not talking to each other.
Alright, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So, I tried to send a portal to somebody. Does Cox and Hotmail not like us, or
Sometimes they don't.
how do
So,
I get around?
If you feel that your client is not receiving emails from us, call the help desk, and the level 2s can check on the back end of the system to see if your client's email provider is suppressing emails from our system. It gets a little complicated sometimes. One tool I can show you guys, we're gonna get back on track and talk about portals in just a second, but one tool in your menu is to come up here and type in opt-in report. You're looking for opt-in status.
Well, I see that they didn't access it or get it.
So if you come here and for some reason it says it's an undeliverable under here, or it says pending opt-in, anything basically but confirmed, you can always call us on the help desk and ask a level 2 to look at the back end. Because they might be able to tell automatically, yeah, Cox is suppressing their emails from us. And there's stuff they can do. But there's not anything you can do on the front end to make Cox let our emails through.
So, is it Hotmail and Cox that you?
I don't actually know which provider, which providers it is changes periodically based on, it's based on how many people open the emails that all 38,000 agents send out. So, because all of the emails that your clients are receiving from subscriptions, they all have the same end of the email. It's like flexmail.flexmls.com. So
So it gets flagged as spam possibly, and that's what compresses it, and until the letter does something to trigger it back.
right.
Well, I asked her to check her spam, so I don't see it.
Well, it might not even be
Well, if
coming
enough
into your
people click
like-
spam, then the provider blocks the emails
Right.
from anything
I'll
ending
just
in that.
contact all 10,000 people.
Level 2.
Yeah, level 2. Contact a level 2. So, let me get you guys back into contact management. I guess the lesson we learned in that discussion is to put couples who aren't communicating on different contacts, okay? So in that case, you wouldn't want to put John on here because then he would just have to share Sally's portal. But let me show you searches and subscriptions. Everything we did to this point created Sally, it attached this search to her, and it added this subscription over here. Now, if Sally has multiple searches, I can come down here and click add, and I can add multiple searches. The trick is, if I want those search results to go to her, I have to create one subscription for every search, okay? So if I added a second search here, it would not automatically have a subscription over here. I would have to come over here and click add subscription. Get it? One-to-one. Every search has to have its own subscription. You guys are probably curious about what the portal looks like at this point, right? So you can just click on the portal tab up here. Now, everyone's screen might not look exactly like mine right now. Do you guys have this invite to portal button at the bottom? You do? Okay, good. So the first thing we're going to do is turn our portal on at the very top. And then the way I have my portal preferences set up, and I'm going to show you guys how to set them up the same way, I have to manually invite my client to the portal. And that's a good thing, okay? So I'm going to come down here and click invite to portal. And this is an email, again, it's just a template that I typed into the system, and you're welcome to copy it. But you can see that because I have John and Sally on the same contact record, it's going to email both of them one invite to the portal. It's a little confusing. The username is actually going to be Sally's email address. So another good reason to put them on different portals, because he's going to get confused about that. So this just says, you know, hey, I can type Sally. Hi, Sally. Welcome to your personalized portal that we can use to work together. See what's on the market that matches your search criteria, save listings you're interested in, and hide listings you're not, and more. And then this is a little bit of instruction for them, just about like the symbols that they use inside the portal. So they're going to click the sign up button at the bottom of this email to visit the portal. They're going to enter, the email address and then create their own password, right? Their username and password information. This is the part that talks about the symbols they use in the portal. So once inside your portal, you'll be able to store listings and collections. Those are basically just like little baskets for them. So the ones that they like, they're going to add a star to and put them in the saved collection. And the ones that they don't like, there's like a no smoking sign that they click, and then those listings go into a hidden collection. And then I remind them that for easy access, they need to remember to visit this URL to get to their portal. So the benefit of the portal is they can say, yeah, I like this, no, I don't like this. The downside to the portal is they have to remember to go to that URL on their own, right? For past listings and stuff. For everything that's currently matching their search. So with subscriptions, the benefit is that they're getting reminded constantly because they're receiving emails. The downside to subscriptions is they're only receiving a handful of listings at a time. So if they think, oh, I really like that listing that I received last Tuesday, they'll have to go find that email to see that listing if you haven't set them up on a portal.
So is it possible to set them up on both, or is that too redundant?
It's ideal. I think it's ideal to set them up on both. Unless they just don't want emails. Because if they don't want to use the portal, they don't have to. But it'll always be there if they want to check it out. So I would set them up on a subscription and a portal.
So the subscription emails don't have a way of sending them to the portal?
They do, and that's what gets confusing. So if you set them up on just a subscription, and you don't set them up on a portal, if they try to click on any other listings besides the ones that triggered, well basically if they try to click anywhere on that initial screen that they go to from the subscription email, it will prompt them to log into their portal. Like it will say, no, you can't access this until you type in a username and password. If you didn't set them up on a portal, they're not going to know they have a username and password.
Well, yeah, they always know they have a username, you know, I'm always doing that, so I'm always setting them up on a portal.
Yeah.
But when they're getting a subscription, when they're getting a email with a new listing, and the listing says, you know, there's a new listing, but on that email, there's a way for them to click to get into their portal.
If they click basically anywhere on the screen after they click on the initial link, it will prompt them to log into the portal.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically we're just gonna invite them to this portal at this point, right? We're letting them know it exists. I'll show you guys where you can type this email in so the template will come up every time. There's gonna be a link at the bottom of the email that takes them to the portal, right? So go back to the top and click send. And now what we wanna know, now that they've been invited to the portal, is what does the portal look like? So you can view your client's portal by clicking on view portal. Questions?
Sorry, where did you click to say invite to portal again?
Down at the bottom, do you have the invite to portal button?
No, so does that mean that I just turn it off for this person?
So it probably means there's something different in your portal preferences, which we'll talk about in just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so go up here to the top and click view portal. This is pretty much what your client sees when they go to the portal. The start position I chose in my portal preferences, which I'll show you in just a minute, it was photos, similar to the manual email screen. That's why we're starting on the photos. The biggest difference between the portal and subscriptions is that in the subscription emails, you don't see these little icons for every listing. See this little star icon and the no smoking icon? This is what's great about the portal. Your client can come in here and say, oh yeah, I really like that one, and I'm gonna put a star on it. I don't like that one, that's kind of shabby. I don't like this one. No smoking symbol, but I like these two, right? So when I click from the screen, the system actually thinks I'm my client. It can't tell the difference, because this is the client's view of the portal. There's really only one difference between what we're seeing here and what your client actually sees, and that's the menu. So for you guys, the menu's in the top left of the screen. For your client, this menu is always extended. So it's just like a column that stays there for your client. And it's got your screenshot or your not profile picture, what am I trying to say? Business card at the top, right? If they have multiple searches, they'll appear right here, and they could toggle back and forth between the searches. And then you can see they have little listing collections here. So they saved 3 by clicking 3 stars, and they hid 2. Now, your client can even go further into the saved listing collection. These are just the properties they've saved, and now they can tell me, well, do I like it 1 star, 2 star, or 3 stars, right? So they can make changes to how much, come on, there we go, to how much they like a property here. And as you can see at the top it says saved, so that's how they know they're in the saved collection, beyond the multiple stars. If they want to go back to their search, they just come to this menu and click Smith 9 Mill again. And then they're back to the beginning. Now notice the properties that they marked as hidden have disappeared. They've been pulled out of the search, so even though they match their search criteria, they went in the little hidden basket, right? Recommended is a way for you to save listings for them. So obviously they're going to get all the search results that currently match their criteria, but maybe you want to star certain ones for them to look at. So that's the next thing I want to show you. The way to recommend listings to them is to go to their contact management, go to searches and subscriptions, highlight the search, and then over here where it says results, you have to click view all. And that's like the particular steps that you have to take to get to this screen, which is using at the top left what we call the work on behalf of feature. So you can actually access this from different places in the system. I just think that's the easiest way. So this looks really similar to their portal. It's their search, but it says for Sally Smith right here. So the system knows that I'm doing work on behalf of my client. What that does is it adds a few different icons for me. And one of them is this little suitcase looking thing. And so if I click this, it's recommending that listing to my client. It doesn't email them or notify them. It's just the next time they log into their portal, they'll be able to see, oh, there's one in my recommended basket, okay? So I'm gonna recommend a few of these.
So what if you start, doesn't it act like they started?
Yes. So if you have a client who isn't very savvy about their portal, you could they could just tell you the ones they like, and you could come in here and mark them with stars.
Oh, okay.
But if you mark any stars in here, the system will think they did it. Okay.
That's where the problem comes. Another problem comes.
The two people who were.
Were they
It's okay.
starring and unstarring
No,
things?
if I go and star one, and then, you know, we can run, why do we,
Now
why
you
do
know who started.
Yeah.
So they can't remove the recommended badge, so go with a little suitcase.
Right.
Yeah. The other tricky thing about this, and I'll be the first to admit, this system leaves a lot to be desired in terms of portals and subscriptions. That's why they're redoing it. But you'll notice there's another no smoking symbol. So if they've already hidden a listing, I can also hide that listing as the agent, but it's the same symbol. So that's kind of lame.
Does it take it away or?
It just puts it in my hidden collection too. It just lets them know, like, it's already kind of taken away. It's not going to appear.
So the notes, do they see them or?
So, it's interesting. So you should be, if you were to type a listing note in here, it should send them a message in the portal. The problem is it's not super reliable and it doesn't notify them that they have a message. So you could be sending a ton of messages and they would never be notified unless they accidentally stumbled upon them. And so I recommend not using this. Now, that being said, you can type, listing notes just for yourself in here. Just be aware that they might be able to see them, or they will be able to see them.
But if you had, say, there was two properties and you said these are awesome, and you clicked up on the left-hand side, and you
Like this?
You know, there in the box, so like 11 and, the number in the small box. If you check the
Oh, right
box,
here? Yeah.
Yeah, check the box, and then you go email. You can email those directly.
And that would be
to
a
them.
manual email, yeah.
Right, that would be
And
a
that would
manual
be,
email.
that's
You
probably the best way to
Yeah.
go. Like, these are the two I think you'll be most interested in. Or I just recommend, regular texting, emailing, or calling. Because they have so many different ways to contact you, I think it's a little dicey to throw in messages and listing notes. But you're right, I can select these two listings and just come up here to email.
Do the buyers, can they make notes on that? The same, do they see that icon?
So if they're back here,
No, okay.
yeah, there's not a way for them. So, and actually, and I'm going to show you guys how I did this. I don't know if you see this, but there's no message tab up here, and it's because I took it away. And I'll show you how to do that too. So, let me show you guys portal preferences, okay? Because that's pretty important. Okay, I guess I already stopped working for Sally. I've got a lot of tabs open. Give me just a minute. One thing to show you is that if I'm here and I'm going to click View All so that I can work on behalf of Sally, I navigated away from this too quick. Once I'm done recommending things to her, you just want to come up here and press this stop sign, and that saves what you did. Okay? So now I'm not working on behalf of Sally, I'm just in the regular search. Okay? There's a lot of little stuff happening in the background, but okay, now we're going to return to contact management. And I want to show you guys portal preferences, and you're welcome to do this with me, and then you won't have to do it again if you have your computer with you. So go to your menu, and you just want to search for portal. And there's just one option. Click on portal preferences.